Sherry.
I'm Janelle.
Chris.
I'm Josh.
Carter. And I'm Ricky.
So the first topic is music, and Ricky will go ahead and start.
So we've got a couple local bands to highlight today. These are both friends of mine. We've got permission to use these. The first one is a band called PS150, and these guys have been around for a couple years. PS150 includes Ray Montoya, Aaron Decker, Randy McLaughlin, Rachel Montoya, and Danny Martin. And I think we've got a track to play. These guys have played all over Idaho, including Unity Fest, Idaho Falls, Shoshone Music Festival, Bicultural Celebration, Twin Falls. Here we go with the track.
What's the name of the song?
The name of the track is Come Follow Me. These guys recently played Memorial Day Carnival, Settlers Park, and they can often be seen playing out at different prisons, Snake River Prison, ISCI Prison.
Do they do a lot of promotional concerts?
They do a lot of free concerts, benefit concerts, a lot of park concerts, charity work. Actually, the second vocalist, Rachel Montoya, is Ray Montoya's daughter, so we've got some family involved here. The bass player, Randy McLaughlin, actually lives right on the block from me, so local guys, really good guys, really nice guys, really good musicians. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to listen to the track that I emailed out to you.
I really enjoyed it. It really has a good mellow, upbeat feeling. All around it had, like, it brought me into just a nice calm state. You know, sometimes we all pick music based off of how we feel our mood. And it was definitely one of those more universal songs where you don't exactly have to be in a cheerful mood to enjoy it, but it will definitely calm you down if you're having one of those rough days.
This track is actually one of their more, I'd say, like one of their more electric songs. They play like also some acoustic stuff, some piano, some more mellow stuff with the female vocals. But I think this was their best track, so that's why I grabbed it.
You're saying you met them at your church, right?
Yeah, these guys I've known for a couple years. Met them through the church that I went to. I've actually done some different stuff with their lead singer, Ray Montoya, around in some different recovery programs around the area. So they're just good guys.
Do they have a website?
They do have a website, www.ps150.com. You can get t-shirts, CDs, see upcoming shows, things like that.
Is that the only place that you can get their CDs, or?
They have a Facebook page as well, and they have their CDs at all their local shows. I don't know of any particular venues that carry their CDs, like as far as local merchants.
They really like postings or records.
Not that I know of. I didn't look into that, to be honest.
No worries, though. We have their website, which is a great benefit we can go check out.
Yeah, I think nowadays, you know, a lot of the main place to get music is like Amazon.com and different online places. I know that's where I get most of my music. I don't even really buy CDs anymore. So I just look for it online.
Well, what's the second band we're going to be talking about?
The second band that we've got, another local band, since we're highlighting local things today. This band is called The Happily Ever After, also buddies of mine through the church that I go to, and this track is called So Glad to Be Here. Really cool thing with this band is it's it's a 4-piece band, 2 females, 2 males, and they're married. So we've got Stephanie and Ben Simons and Kim and Ken Johnson, and they all rotate instruments, which is really cool. When you listen to the CD, you've got Ben playing drums, and then you've got Ben playing bass, and they all kind of rotate. So it's really cool to see them live, because if you can picture like a circular wheel to play a song and then like get up and like rotate and then sit back down and then play a song and then get up and rotate. And so they all play different instruments, and just really cool to watch live.
They also play at local venues.
They do. They have some different flyers. They've got a website as well, thehappilyeverafter.com. They had some different flyers. I didn't want to pull those off because they were all expired, but they play a lot of different venues, from Boise to like Middleton. I know my wife's gone out and seen them in Nampa at some different concert houses. They play like a lot of coffee bars and like more like backyard parties and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really got the coffee shop feel when I listened to them after. But it was great because, coffee shops themselves have their own atmosphere. Just like when you go to a friend's house that's like a second family, the coffee shop, you kind of have to find a music that kind of suits the environment. It's not just coffee and newspapers.
It's definitely a different sound than the other band. The Happily Ever After is definitely more, I'd say, of like an alternative band. Here we go, the track playing now. So you can hear like a lot of different instruments in there. They've got a big emphasis on like keys and violin, where the previous track was more like electric guitar and more like of a rock feel. This is definitely more of like an alternative feel, and definitely more, I'd say, like mellow, like backyard barbecue kind of band.
Who would you compare them to?
Who would I compare them to? I compare them to, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like Needs of State. They're a bigger national band. They play like bigger music festivals out and stuff like that. But they're kind of more of like or Matt and Kim. It's another one. They're out of New York City. They're like drums and keys and more like just kind of like a new wave alternative sound.
Thank you for allowing us to get permission to listen to those songs. It's really great to hear some new music for us, as well as some local bands that may not get as much recognition.
Yeah, I say keep it local. I mean, we've got Idaho and Boise has tons of awesome musicians locally, and anytime I can try to get the word out on cool local bands, I'm all about that. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to shed some light on these guys for you.
Ricky, do they have any airtime, like, on the radio? Can you hear them on Air One, or do they have any tracks that...
I'm not sure if they've had any airtime exposure. I know that they've played the KQXR, I think, some of their music festivals, so they may have had some airtime in like limited, like local highlighting kind of spots. But I don't know, maybe after highlighting them here, they might have some airtime in house.
Well, I hope so. It'd be really nice to help promote our fellow Idahoans. Right, and now we're going to go ahead and go to Jake, and we're going to go ahead and talk about some cars.
Well, I'm going to be talking about the 2012 Nissan GT-R. This is a supercar, what they call it. It's actually priced at about $125,000.
Can you live in that?
You might after you buy it.
Yeah, you might just be living in it after you buy it, because that's about all you can afford. So, this car is V6, and it's a 3.8 liter. It's a twin turbo charged. It's got 530 horsepower, which is Phenomenal.
Sweet.
We'll put you in your seat.
I think my car is like 135, if that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
That's awesome.
448 foot-pounds of torque. And amazingly, on the highway, it gets 23 miles a gallon. In the city, is a short 16. So, you know, if you're hot rodding that thing around, it's going to eat up the gas.
It looks like they tried to keep a similar design to the Porsche body style.
Maybe even the Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Z car, I think it's more towards the Z car. It's a pretty amazing ride. I got a chance to actually see one of these at the dealership, and I asked the guy, he's like, so what do I got to do to test drive that thing? Well, pretty much you got to buy it.
Oh my gosh.
You can't test drive it, you got to buy it.
Nice.
So,
You better know you want it before you go invest in that.
So
That's right.
is this one of their like their top of the line models as far as Nissan goes?
absolutely.
I mean, one of their ultra expensive cars if you're gonna go with them.
Yeah, I think this is one of the highest priced Nissan cars ever.
But there is one local in a showroom here.
Yep. And at the Nampa, the brand new Bronco Motors Nissan dealership in Nampa. It's right off the Garrity exit. Yeah, they showcased two of them in there. One of them is actually 119,000, and the other one's 125.
This is as much as my parents just bought their house for.
Yeah.
Did they let you even sit in it?
Nope.
Oh.
It's cased off. You can look in it for sure. I mean, you can walk right
Just
up to
don't
it.
put your fingerprints on
Yeah.
it.
No fingerprints.
And it's got a V6, not a V8.
It's got a V6, not a V8. It's twin turbo.
But it's got the
charged.
twin turbo.
Yeah, the turbo really makes the motor more efficient. It makes the air and the fuel mixture more combustible, and yeah, as it goes into the cylinders, and it just makes a big bang.
Does it say what size liter tank it has?
I don't think so. It's probably got, you know, a 15-gallon tank or something like that.
See, I like the older cars.
The classic body style.
Yeah, the classic cars. I'm not big on the whole new car thing.
The new cars I always consider like the midlife crisis cars.
So.
You're gonna have to get one.
I like the old classic cars too. My dad had a 1967 Chevy 2 Nova, which was a wonderful car. It had a 700 horsepower motor in it, which beats 530, and went really fast.
We should all.
My dad has a 69 GTO.
There you go.
Yeah, that's driven it once.
That's probably he's gonna ever let you do.
Nah, just at my school parking lot.
In a parking lot, yeah.
From one end to the other. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it went down.
But you got to burn rubber the whole way, right?
Yeah, this girls walked by and he's just like, "Here, throw it in neutral and just rev it up." And I threw it in first and hit that gas.
Oops.
Yep. Well, it got their attention.
Could probably get going pretty good just in first though, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
It was
As you
pretty mean
lurch
car.
along.
Yeah. Because of-
So this car actually has 3 modes for driving. In the R mode, it maximizes performance with quicker shifts, and the suspension goes into high performance mode. It lowers the car, makes the suspension more stiff, and for ultra performance, it adjusts the front and rear power distribution to emphasize handling. And in normal mode, it has maximum stiffness. It says it's for automatic electronic control for dampening, something like that. And then it's got a special mode. And this is for long distance high speed driving and gentle torque delivery for smooth driving on slippery surfaces. It's a comfort mode, and it dampens the force of the shock for easy handling and nice soft suspension, and it turns the other mode off. The other mode's off. The chassis of this car is very cool because the suspension components are lightweight, forced aluminum wheels, reduced unstrung weight, allowing the suspension to respond more quickly to the road, and the steering to respond more quickly to driver input. This car is just amazing. It's got the motor's in the front, and it's got a drive line from the motor that goes to the transmission in the rear of the car, and then it's got a rear end that's attached to the transmission, and so which makes it independent suspension, and improves the handling as well.
Can you show us that picture?
Absolutely.
So do you prefer older cars or these new cars?
He wants one of each.
I want one of each. Absolutely. I would love to drive a Nissan GTR, and but I'd also like to have. I actually have a project car right now, which is a '69 Chevy pickup, and it's pretty sweet. I'm gonna put a 454 big block motor in it, and it's gonna be sweet.
How long do you think that'll take you to complete that project?
Oh, years.
Yeah.
Years.
That's why it's a project
Yeah,
car.
it's a project car.
That's cool.
It's gonna be. I hope to have it running within the next year.
Nice.
That's a
So I
great
can drive
goal.
it.
Where did you pick up the shell? Did you just pick up a shell from a
Actually,
field or?
the truck I picked it up from off of Craigslist for $500, and found
That's
out
really
that
the way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, you should rebuild it yourself.
and I sold the motor to my brother, and my dad gave me a motor for it, and it's a really good deal. Except for the transmission doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the brakes on this Nissan are actually the diameter of the brakes is 15 and 0.4 inches for the front and 15 for the rear, and they are composed of 4 pistons for the brake calipers in the front and 6 pistons for the rear, which make the braking power of this thing absolutely phenomenal. Doesn't say anything about how. Oh, it's a full floating rotor, and it's got cross drilled, so that as you can see in this picture, and it's diamond ventilated, and we'll show this picture next because it's pretty sophisticated. And is there any other questions?
I want to talk about the interior.
Oh, the interior of the
What
car.
kind of sound system you got in there?
I would imagine it's probably the best.
Alpine or
Bose?
Yeah,
Bose
it doesn't say. It's probably a Bose system, but it doesn't really say anything about.
Yeah, a lot of the time they don't say it on the faceplate, they'll say it on the actual mechanics.
But here is a picture of the interior to get everybody a better view of it.
Even though you can't see the seats, it's probably leather, at least in this model.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't like
And
Or all of them.
$120,000. That should be the only way.
It's probably got gold plated everything.
Gold
Didn't they
thread.
just make
Gold
a
thread,
gold-plated car? Like a Lexus?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it. Or it was out of diamonds or something.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Probably all the above since diamonds are indestructible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. You could wreck that car and be alright.
You wouldn't want to wreck that car.
Oh, if
If you
it's
lost one.
indestructible, then I don't see what you're losing.
Be in charge of the salvage.
The salvage, yeah. On a different side with cars, one thing that I want to bring up that I personally had experience with is I have a Chrysler Town and Country minivan, and the previous owner had kids. Hey, it might be a beast, but it's top of the line. It's got leather. It's got a DVD system in it. However, the previous owner has had children in it. Don't leave your loose change where they can get it. Yes, it is. Well, I have a 2-year-old, so,
Children.
so I
What?
have it. No,
Van?
but don't leave your loose
No.
change in your car where your children can get it, because it only takes a second, and they can insert it into your tape decks, your CD tuners, and you don't know it until, like, for us, we were out of town. The incline into our motel was steep, and it shifted those pennies and ruined the microprocessor. And then we had to spend $200 to replace our stereo system.
Ouch.
Yeah,
No.
so.
I love
and-
those kids.
It's like a slot for piggy bank.
Exactly, just like a piggy
You
bank,
don't have
but
choice.
that's not where you want your money to be put, because it's not an investment. So definitely try not to leave your coins where your kids can get them, because Even if it's not your car, you don't want them swallowing it because you don't want the hospital bill.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if I had this car, my kids would not be ready.
Would you hire an armed guard so
Yeah.
nobody could
Kid free zone.
Yeah, this anti-child. All right.
I'm ready for some sports.
Alrighty, some sports, my department. Cool. Today we'll be talking about some football, and mainly right now we'll be talking about a little BSU. After starting off 3-0 with a 35-21 against Georgia, who is supposedly in the toughest conference, the SEC. And then
Those are some big boys too.
yeah, overrated in my opinion. They don't give BSU enough credit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, they are 3-0, especially with the last week's win over Tulsa, 41-21. Not a bad win. Today, they are taking on Nevada, who, if you're from here, you know that last year.
It's revenge time.
Yep,
Yeah.
they
Wolf
beat us.
Pack rivalry.
You know, if this is a key game, I think.
Absolutely.
Definitely. If last year they killed any chance of us going to a BCS bowl. You ladies know what that is. You were telling me earlier you didn't know about sports that much.
I don't know anything about
Oh.
sports except for that I don't
Watch them.
appreciate BSU's
Huh?
tuition rise.
Well, anyways, the Broncos are taking on Nevada today at 12:30, I believe, and a little revenge game after beating us last year in overtime. The controversial missed field goal, and then talked to a couple of the players, and they said they're looking forward to it. They said just watch the game, because last year, when the Nevada school rushed the field, I guess they were saying some pretty inappropriate things to our guys, even after they beat us.
Well, the University of Nevada, Reno does have some mouthy people. I went to school with some of them.
Yeah. Well,
So we've no longer got Bronzman as our kicker.
no, we got a
Got
freshman,
new kicker now.
Dan Goodale, and
What do you think about him so far with just the 3 games?
he's a freshman. He's starting off slow. He's not a bad kicker. I played against him in high school, and I used to see him warm up, and he's definitely got the leg. People are jumping at him real quick, and what they don't understand is kicker's a make or break position. It's not really looked upon as much as like a quarterback or running back, but they don't think much about a kicker unless he messes up. As long as he's making his kicks, if he misses a extra point, then he's a bad kicker. But if he kicks like a 50-yard field goal, he's the best. So they got a lot more pressure than people think, and so
Do you know
I don't.
anything about his background? Does he have soccer background, or is it all football?
I don't know about his background. I don't know him that well. I just know that people shouldn't judge him too quickly. His first year, and it's not easy kicking in front of 30+ thousand people, and he did fairly well in the Georgia game, which was in front of how many 70,000. So
Definitely a lot of pressure.
yeah, that's a lot of pressure for a freshman straight out of high school, where I believe he was redshirted.
What about their new quarterback? Is
Southwick and Grant Hedrick. Yeah, they.
What do you think about him?
Well, Southwick's definitely got the experience more than Hedrick, but I think when it comes down to it, they're not too worried about who's starting right now because they're focused on the season, one game at a time. And I think when it comes to next year, I think it's going to be a battle between those two. They're also bringing in a freshman from Florida who's like a highly touted recruit. His name's Nick Patty, and there's people have been saying he's like a right-handed Kellen Moore. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I went to the spring game, and they also got another quarterback, Jimmy Lawray, who he had a pretty strong arm. I was a little impressed with him, especially since he's straight out of high school. But mainly right now, I'm pretty excited for the game against Nevada. I think.
What do you think? What do you think that's going to be at the end of the game?
Oh, I can tell you, it could go. I mean, Nevada's not the same team they were last year. With Colin Kaepernick and that.
Do you know what the score was last year?
It was. I think
Or at least what the gap was between.
it was a field goal game. It was in overtime.
Do you think it's going to probably be another field goal game?
No way. We our
Take him down.
yeah our team No, I think pretty much BSU will beat Nevada. I don't know if it'll be a blowout. I hope it will be. You know, but I also, because the blowout shows you kind of have a better chance to go to a national championship, be the first non-conference team to go to a national championship ever. So, better we look beating teams, the better chance we have. Cause it's mainly all about positive and negative media attention.
Mhm.
You know, if a player has awesome, outstanding stats, and you know their score is just a beast amount between, you know, then it looks good. But you know, if like say we beat a non-conference BCS team by like 3 points, then it also looks like, oh, Boise State's not that good. Like they wouldn't be able to handle teams. So it goes back and forth.
So it's really bad stress on everybody, no matter which way you look at it, because it's a good but still strong stress if they're continually doing good, getting their times, their kicks, getting their score so close, but then they have to do whatever they can to try to keep that continuously through each game in order to be not only the good press versus the bad press, but in order to be even considered for those higher ends.
Well, the thing about Boise State is they're a very respected team. They have a lot of class, so they don't like running up the score on people. So they try to keep it even. They try to get all their players in. So it's really hard to get BCS consideration when they're just, you know, they take their starters out when they got a 4 or 5 touchdown lead.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. I'm just looking forward to the game today.
Yeah.
12:30, I will be there.
Yeah, against the Boise State UNR Wolfpack versus Broncos at 12:30.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure all the fans, both sides, will be riled up and ready to root.
Is that all we have today?
Yeah.
Yeah, today that is what we have. We've gone over some great local bands, an amazing new car that you might as well be rich to own. You probably do if you don't want to be living in it. In the speeding tickets, yes. It's bad enough that red attracts most tickets anyway. And then the BSU sports.
Go Broncos. I'll see you guys down there.
Kellen Moore for Heisman.
Definitely.